Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Backyard Farm to Table. I'm Kelvin, and today's paleo meal, which is also gluten-free, is curry goat. Now, I don't know how many of you have even tried goat of any variety, but hopefully you've at least had curry chicken, all right? And so, while the meat is different, the flavors will be pretty similar. You know, growing up, we moved here from New York City to Miami in 1982, and at that point in time, I had never heard of any of these West Indian meals. We went to a church that ended up being where everyone in the congregation was from Jamaica, and we were the only ones from, well, not the West Indies or any of the islands. So everything that we encountered was brand new to us, but very exciting and very enjoyable. It's actually the beginnings of where I learned to enjoy spicy foods. So let's get started. Today, what we've got is about 3 pounds of goat meat. And why so much? I'm just making this for my mom and myself. But like I said, ain't nobody got time to be cooking a dish that takes anywhere from 2 to 3 hours to make on a slow temperature every single day. So you make enough, have some now. Once it cools down, Ziploc it, put it in your storage container, put it in the freezer. Now the next time you have some taste for curry goat, you just simply take it out, thaw it out, reheat it, and you're good to go. All right, so then we have curry powder, and there are different brands out there. Some are mild, some are medium, most are hot. So get the one that is to your liking. I make my own blend, and this way I know exactly what's in it, and I get to control the amount of hot pepper inside here. We've also got some ginger and garlic, onion, some white yam, okay? I've got from the farm some thyme, a Scotch bonnet, tomato paste that I make from some of the tomatoes in the yard last year, then salt to taste, and my preference for this, some ground white pepper. Later, since we can't have rice on paleo, I'm going to go ahead and slice up and steam this head of cabbage, also off of the farm. Some really good things that you're able to do when you grow your own vegetables, and you don't have to keep running to the supermarket to get everything that you need. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to take the onion. Now, I purposefully did this so that you could see. All right, it's got a little bit of brown bit on there, but that's not bad. I've seen so many people take this and instantly throw it away because, oh, it's brown, it's bad, and they throw away the whole entire onion. Simply slice off that piece that is brown, take it and put it, in my case, in the compost bin. We're good to go. Now, that onion is just fine. We slice it off. Because I want thin slices, I'm gonna just turn it this way, slice it down. Okay, do the same thing with the other half. In the description, I'm gonna put the actual link to the Southern Boy Farm website where the complete recipe and this method will be listed. Okay, and just simply a couple of little chops all the way across, and we're done with the onion. Ginger, I've already peeled most of it, but I wanted to just show you how simple it is to peel. Now, you really don't even have to peel it, okay? The peeling on ginger is so thin to where it really doesn't make much of a difference. But simply take the edge of your sharp knife, rub it against that skin, and it just comes right off. Now, is this fresh ginger? Yes. All right. What I do is I take and I grow ginger once a year. Okay? And I grow a good amount of it. And then you just simply, when you harvest, you just take it, you put it inside your airtight container, Ziploc, Tupperware, and you take and you put that inside your freezer. Now, whenever you want some fresh ginger, you go in there, you don't even have to thaw it out. You can simply take it and use it from frozen. Now, if you prefer, you can use powdered ginger, but why would you? All right. Simply take, dice that up. Does it have to be super fine? No. You want the flavor, and over this long period of cooking, it's going to just come down and blend in, soften up a little, not a lot, a little. It's not going to pretty much dissolve away like the onions will, but you don't have to worry about getting it super teeny tiny. Okay. Garlic. Just take it. I've already cut off the bottoms. Take the flat side of your knife, lay it on top of the garlic, and smash it. Okay. Now you just take the peel off. And if you have your preferred way, if you've got one of those little silicone gadgets that they give and you can take and roll the garlic up in it and it comes on off, that's fine too. Whatever works for you is good for me. All right? Because ain't nobody got time to be fiddling around. And don't feel badly if you want to take one more step, which is your God-given right as an American, and go to the supermarket and buy that bag of already peeled garlic, okay? Or you go and you buy that jar of garlic. Just make sure that it's in water for your paleo and not in oil, because most of the time that would tend to be in a vegetable or soybean oil, and that's not good on the paleo diet. The reason why I like to use the fresh garlic like this is because it holds up longer in a cool, dark area on a shelf in your house than, let's say, if you went and bought that bag that was already pre-peeled and inside there. That one, you've got a couple of weeks to use the whole thing. And you may love garlic, and you might use it all. And if you do, that's just perfectly fine. But the average individual is not going to use up that much garlic in that limited amount of time. And so it's best to just go ahead, get the fresh, spend a little time, do these things, and you're good to go. All right. Last thing I'm going to do is the Scotch bonnet pepper or habanero. Okay, grow these on the farm and usually don't get to use a whole bunch of them. So again, just like the ginger, just take them off, throw them inside a little baggie or container, throw them in the freezer. And when you're ready, you just take one out and you can use it from frozen and start going. Okay, you can also take these, dehydrate, grind, and then you've got Scotch bonnet pepper in the powder form. which then you can use when you make your own curry powder. So I love it hot, hot, but I know mom doesn't. So what you do, in any pepper, the heat is in the seeds. I don't know if you can see that, but the seeds that are inside there, that's where the majority of my heat is going to come from. So I can just simply rinse that off, get rid of the seeds. If you want, you can take and put the seeds onto a piece of paper towel and just let that dry, and then you can plant them just like any other seed and grow your own habaneros at home. All right. Just gonna slice that up real quick. And put it there. Okay. We're ready to just about get ready to cook. So I'm going to take and I'm going to put my salt and pepper onto there and just toss the goat meat around. Don't be scared, it's yours, you bought it. Hopefully you got the receipt. And just want to get it nice and even. Doesn't have to sit overnight, doesn't have to marinate, okay? Most things don't. This is going to slow cook on the stove and it's all going to come together. And don't forget, when you're deciding on how much salt to use for your particular recipe mix, is that this is a sauce that's going to reduce and thicken. So as it reduces and thickens, that same amount of salt is going to concentrate, and now there's going to be less and less and less liquid, therefore not as much to dilute the amount of salt you used on there. So number one, I use kosher salt, which is a lot more forgiving than your table salt. Try to avoid using iodized salt, but if you have to, go ahead. At Wally World, I'm able to get some table salt that doesn't have iodine, God bless America, and you can use that. A lot cheaper, but still, just be careful how much salt you put on in the beginning, because when all is said and done, you can always add more salt at the end, okay? So now, let's go ahead, get our pot started. Put it on a medium fire, and we're going to add in about a 1/4 cup of oil. All right. How much is a 1/4 cup? It's the amount that they give you in that little side container when you ask for some extra sauce when you go to a lot of these carry-out places, and they put it in that little white container. That's a 1/4 cup, 2 ounces, okay? I'll let this heat up a little bit, and then we'll begin to put our meat inside there. I'm gonna put it all in at one time. Ain't nobody got time to be doing this in batches. It don't need to be perfectly brown. The curry will color it in its own way anyway. Okay? Give that oil a little time to heat up. It ain't instant, okay? It needs to heat. All right? If you want, you take a little bit of water, put it kind of inside there. If it don't stop popping, it ain't time. So, one of the things that makes cooking so much simpler, so much easier is pre-planning, okay? Because a dish like this isn't something that you're gonna come home to and start making at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, unless you're like me and you don't eat dinner until like 8:30 in the evening, okay? So Take one of those precious days off you got. Sit down, figure out what you want to make for the week. Make a few dishes. You've got anywhere from 7 to 10 days after you make a dish that was cooked properly and refrigerated properly before it'll go bad for you and you should probably consider throwing it away. So pre-prep up everything, get it all going, have it inside there. Now when you get home late in the evening, you're not going, oh, I'm so tired. I just don't feel like cooking, and I'm just gonna swing by this restaurant. Be careful, don't do it. All right, I can hear that water that I threw inside there starting to pop, so let's go ahead and get this goat inside. Throw the whole thing in there. You do want to get a little bit of browning onto the meat, but this isn't like beef stew or making braised short ribs where you totally want to have full browning color on it. Don't even worry about it, but just get a little bit. Again, like I said, the curry's going to change the color of it anyway. So don't even really worry about getting a perfect browning. And at 3 pounds and this size pot, you can throw all of it in at one time and not have to worry about it. All right, so it's been about an hour and 45 minutes. The timer should be going off here shortly. We'll add the potatoes, cut up the cabbage, and get that to steam, and then we'll be ready to eat. First started making the curry goat, the individual who showed me had said, go ahead and put in a bouillon flavoring cube when you're about to put in the potatoes, and that'll just add a little more extra seasoning and flavor to your pot. Well, here's the thing with that. Let me put in the potatoes and then I'll come back and we'll talk about that. But let's talk about this for a moment, okay? So I'm not showing who the manufacturer is, but I just want to talk about these bouillon cubes in general. Now, I don't know if all of you remember umpteen years ago, there was all the news reports, documentaries, and everything on the effects of MSG on a human being. Stomach ache and headaches and all kinds of stuff. And it caused a lot of products to not be bought anymore. How dare some people explain to you some of the negative stories behind MSG? So you know what they did? They went ahead and they did something different with the ingredients. Because most people say, oh, MSG. I looked in the ingredients, it didn't say nothing about no MSG. What they did was, MSG stands for monosodium glutamate. And now what they do, instead of putting MSG, which you're looking for, they simply write out salt, monosodium glutamate, and then palm oil, blah, 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 blah. So MSG, monosodium glutamate, is the second most predominant item in each one of these flavored cubes in this box. So you can still use bouillon, Just make sure that if MSG is something that you're looking out for in your diet, you just read the ingredients. If it says MSG or it says monosodium glutamate, then pick another brand and you'll be just fine. Okay, let's get back to this. So, I'm gonna take the cabbage, slice it in half, slice it again into quarters. Go ahead, turn on my pot. Put it on a medium-high heat with some olive oil, just a little bit, about a little over a teaspoon, about a teaspoon and a half. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water once I actually get the cabbage inside. Now, if you want to do extra flavorings like adding some onion, or you want to add in some bell peppers, those types of things, absolutely go right on ahead. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And now what I'm doing is I'm cutting out what I call the heart. Okay, it's that hard piece of the cabbage that you just go ahead and discard. Okay, it's the center. Throw that in for the compost. Okay, now I like big pieces, so I just simply slice it down. As I cut it up, throw it in the pan. Nice. Chop, 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 chop. Throw it in the pan. Chop, chop, chop. All right, we got that in the pan. All right, we're back for the finale of paleo curry goat or chicken. Those are nice and soft now. Sauce has reduced dramatically. Put some seasoning on there. Good old country seasoning.
How are you doing?
All right, so here we go. We got some cabbage. And a little bit of curry goat. That looks just fine. All right, so like, subscribe, click that little bell so you know the next time when we have an item being made, and I'll see you right back here next time on Backyard Farm to Table. See you later.